Had enough?
Please, leave me be. For the love of God, I only stole a piece of bread. I was starving.
No excuses. Hand it over.
Here.
You got the thrashing you deserved. I hope you've learned your lesson.
Yes, sir.
You really let him go? Just like that? And did you get the loot back?
I did. I have it here.
Thank you. That thieving magpie. You can't trust anyone these days. And just so you know, I'm no pinch burst. Here's a small reward.
Thanks.
I see you know how to wield a sword, Father. I wouldn't have expected that from a man of the cloth.
With a stick. I practice with a stick. A reminder of my youth and days gone by, and it helps keep me in good form.
Have you thought of a way to help me solve that murder?
Let's leave it for the evening. Come to the tavern after sunset and we'll talk it over.
Do you have any work that needs doing?
My dear lad, I have more worries than I can bear. Another pair of shoulders would ease my burden. I have to deal with a local witch.
A witch?
The herb woman, old Gertrude. That devious hag who will stoop to anything. Like all herbalists, for that matter.
Oh, don't tell me. The cows are giving blood instead of milk, and babies are being born with 2 heads and a tail.
This is no laughing matter. Gertrude isn't evil. She just has peculiar ideas about what's good for people. A little bird told me she incited some Ujet's women to witchery.
A little bird told you, did it?
You know how good people are at seeing the splinter in another's eye and not the beam in their own.
In other words, someone's been gossiping. And what's the problem?
As long as herb women stick to giving psychic to folk and bloated cows, assisting in childbirth, or burning incense in bedrooms to help with sleep, then nothing at all. But this is sacrilege, and it's unsafe. All sorts of molds and lichens and poisonous plants and other foul things go into those concoctions. I'd hate to see her poison some poor gullible lass.
What do you want me to do?
I want you to go and see her and find out what she's been up to. I know she lives in fear of the Holy Church, so tell her I sent you. That will make her talk and think twice about encouraging witchcraft. If you learn that she truly did involve folk in some foolishness, find out all you can and deal with it.
Consider it done.
Good. And never fear. I'm a man who always pays his debts. You'll find Gertrude, the old herb woman, in the woods. Good luck to you.
Yeah!
Jesus Christ, you're closed. Were you assaulted? Damn bandits, may they burn in hell.
I've come in the name of Sir Hanish of Lipa.
Ask all you want.
Who was this Lubosh?
Those that live by the...
That's all.
I've come from the priest. They're saying you incited some women to witchcraft.
Me? Witchcraft? That's nothing but idle chatter.
You'd be wise to give me a straight answer. I mean you no harm.
As long as it's the truth you speak. Very well. I'll tell you everything. I've done a very foolish thing. It's preying on my mind so much I can't sleep a wink.
But I'm supposed to believe an old witch has pangs of conscience.
Laugh if you like, but it's not a word of a lie. You probably know I sell various magic lotions and potions alongside my herbs. Well, there's one I wish I hadn't sold. You see, Vera, Zlata, and Kuta from Uzhitz wanted a magic ointment from me. I kept refusing them, but in the end, I let them talk me into it.
What did they want the ointment for?
Each one of them lost a loved one recently, and it's grieving them. They wanted to talk with the dead.
And why are you so worried about them all of a sudden? What changed your mind?
I'm losing sleep over it. Firstly, those women don't know what they're doing. And secondly, folk might see it as witchcraft. And do you know what they do to witches?
They burn them alive.
That they do. So don't be surprised I'm worried.
It didn't bother you before, though. What kind of ointment was it?
One that will show you a world no one else can see. A place of wonder and terror. The flowers might start talking to you, or the earth could swallow you up. I don't know if it's the work of the devil or of God himself, but the ointment has that power. But it could poison any person who doesn't know how to use it right.
So all this talk of witches anointing themselves and then flying to their sabbaths on broomsticks.
The ointment could make a person see such things. But it was stupid of me letting those foolish women get their hands on it. They could poison themselves or fall off a cliff while they're lost in a dream.
Will you give me the ointment recipe?
It contains belladonna and the herb Paris, both quite poisonous plants. That ought to make you think twice about dabbling with it.
So why did you give them the ointment at all?
Because I'm soft-hearted. You see, one of those women, Vera, lost her whole family in Skalitz. Hanslada's husband was killed. And the youngest of them, Kuta, miscarried with the horror of it all. They said they wanted to use the ointment to speak with the dead and ask them to put a word in with the Lord.
I understand how they feel. But I reckon it'll get them nowhere but the ducking stool and the stake.
Judge not, lest ye be judged. I didn't want to give them the ointment, but they offered me a pile of groschen. So I thought how desperate they must be, and I heard their plea.
Their plea or the clink of their coin? I've heard enough.
If you've heard enough, you must understand why I need your help. Find out from those women what they intend, and watch over them to keep them safe.
Very well. But only because the priest himself asked me to.
Thank you 1,000-fold. I'll go to the Reverend myself and explain. You take care of those women. Take care.
Would you teach me something about medicinal herbs?
Certainly.
I'd like to practice the basics.
All right, but it'll cost you.
Isn't that quite a lot?
Since it's you,
I'd almost shake on that. Almost. Agreed. Now, listen up. Take care. God bless.
Let's talk about the price.
Naturally.
What do you say to this?
I'd almost shake on that. Almost.
I knew we'd come to an arrangement. I've come in the name of Sir Hanish of Light.
I don't know how I can help you.
Who was this Lubosh who was murdered?
You could see at first glance he was no good. I kept well out of his way.
Have you noticed anything suspicious recently?
There wasn't sight or sound of him for a long time. And then yesterday, he turned up at the church and even talked to the parish priest. I never saw him do that before. Probably had a bad conscience.
Do you know what Lubosh was doing the day Neuhof was raided?
I don't think he was home. I didn't see him all day.
Do you know who Lubosh used to spend time with? Kin or friends?
As far as I know, he had nobody at all in this world.
That's all. Thank you.
I've heard something about a magical ointment.
Really? I'd like to know where from. And what concern is it of yours, anyway?
The herb woman sent me.
Gertrude? What does she want? More money?
It's not about the money. She's concerned about your health. That ointment can be dangerous, and she wants me to make sure you don't do anything foolish.
It can't have got any more dangerous since she sold it to us. Tell her we're ever so grateful for her concern, and goodbye.
I've heard something.
Really?
The priest is worried.
The priest? It's nice to find out what telltales you have for neighbours. But believe me, it's none of your business. Or the priest's.
It could be dangerous. Not just for your soul. That shit is poisonous.
So I'm supposed to believe the herb woman slipped us poison instead of the ointment?
She'd like to know what you plan to do with it and when.
But we already told her. I don't understand why she'd get you involved in it. Why don't you just leave us alone?
I've heard something.
Really?
The herb.
Gertrude?
She'd like to know.
What made her change?
I've heard something.
Really?
The priest.
The priest?
I don't quite know what's going on, but I'll find out by hook or by crook. So start talking.
Only a herbal ointment, some chanting, and 3 women at night in the woods. No harm done to anyone. Maybe some help to some. So why don't you stop interfering?
Good day to you.
Goodbye.
Good day to you. May the Lord watch over you.
That sounded like...
I've come in the name of...
Ask away.
Who was this Lubosh who was murdered?
He was a drunkard and a beast. And lazy too. Idle hands are the devil's tools.
Have you noticed anything suspicious recently?
The only thing seemed suspicious was how a rogue like him suddenly started going to church. Now I see why, of course.
Do you know what Lubosh was doing the day Neuhof was raided?
What do I care about that scoundrel? I was glad he stayed out of my way.
Do you know who Lubosh used to spend time with? Kin or friends?
He was always a loner. Except lately, he started talking to the parish priest.
That's all.
I heard something about a magic ointment that you got from the herb woman.
You heard that where? And what business is it of yours?
The herb woman sent me.
Gertrude? What does she want? Haven't we paid her enough?
That's not the point. The ointment's dangerous, and the herb woman doesn't want you getting up to anything foolish.
We know all that, and it's not stopping us. So, thanks for asking and goodbye.
Is someone there?
I heard something about a magic ointment that you got from the herb woman.
You heard that where?
The herb woman.
Gertrude.
She'd like to know just...
What made her change her tune? You can tell her we plan to do exactly what we agreed.
I've come in the name...
Ask away.
That's all.
Is there something you need?
I've heard something about a magical ointment.
What? Who told you that? Was someone asking around?
Gertrude sent me.
And what did she say? Does she want to add something to the ointment?
No. She's worried about what you'll do with it. It's quite dangerous stuff. What I've heard already amounts to a burning offense.
Burning? Burning at the stake, you mean?
Yes, burning you alive. If you're planning anything that looks like witchcraft.
To hell with it. Let them burn us if they will. God has forsaken us. Everyone's dying. We've lost everything. Lucifer is our last hope. Do you want to turn us in?
I'm not here to judge you. I know what it's like to lose loved ones. I just want to make sure you don't do anything foolish.
Foolish? You think what's going on around here is foolery? We won't just stand idly by and nobody can stop us.
I've heard something about...
What?
Gertrude's...
And what did she say?
No. She... Witchcraft and sorcery never brought any good to anyone.
And praying has. For years I spit down on my knees. But where was God when that pack of humans came and slaughtered all the folk in Scarlets? I was with child. Did you know that? But the horror of it drove the child from my womb lifeless. If charms and spells won't help us, nothing will. We're doing no wrong. We go to the woods alone, at night, and we hurt no one. I won't say any more. You might twist it against us.
Huh? What hole did you crawl out of? You've no business here.
Yeah.
Oh, is it far? Not at all. But you should put the ointment on now. It takes a while to start working.
Where exactly do you put it on?
Well, there. You know?
I feel shy.
So playing games with the devil is all right, but dabbing some ointment on your tummy is going too far.
Aye, well, don't peek for a bit. I'm not sure.
Don't worry. Plenty of women have tried it before us.
What if it does work? What if he does appear?
But that's what we want, isn't it? Let's go.